As we begin a new ministry of small groups at Faith United Methodist at the end of this month, I want to put out a particular call for congregational care ministers. As you know and have been reading about and hearing about, these groups will have four key functions, one of which is caregiving. And what we're looking for is persons to be caregiving leaders in each of these groups from their onset, a person who can model caregiving for others in the group and pass that leadership on so that eventually everyone in the group is a caregiver. That, I think, is an important part of the future ministry of caregiving at Faith. Not that we will not continue to have a need for congregational care ministers who work with the pastoral staff in meeting the care needs of the congregation at large, but that in each of our small groups there can be a kind of a shared leadership, as it were, in terms of caregiving one for the other. This is very biblical, of course, and very much as it was in the earliest Christian house churches. And in fact, you may know there's a whole history of caregiving in the church, developing through the centuries, eventually leading to what we know of today as secular hospitals. And I'll speak to that a little bit in the Keeping Whole section of today's Finding Faith Online. But I want to put out a call now for you to think about how each of you might be responding or might be able to respond as a caregiver in the small groups. So many of you have been doing a fabulous ministry of caregiving and calling and writing cards and sending emails throughout the last 4 or 5 months of the pandemic. So the experience is there. What we'd like to do is find persons who might be able to step forward to receive a little bit of training on caregiving, utilizing resources that we've identified from the Methodist Church of the Resurrection in Kansas City. Some of this is working through a workbook that we have, and also some videos that have been created on caregiving by the Church of the Resurrection. So I hope you'll prayerfully consider this, and if you feel like this is something you can step forward on as a caregiving leader, at least initially, for one of the small groups, you'll notify me or other staff members, and we can proceed with some training, not too onerous training, but I think delightful training and helpful. God bless.